Hello and welcome to Dragon Dreams, and we're gonna do some gemstone divination with Gina, Virginia Casella. We are so excited to have you here with us today. Gina, how are you? It's so pleasure to be here with you
Alex,
today.
thank you so much for introducing me today, and thank you so much for taking on the task of hosting Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I just want to say thank you for all of our streamers and followers and viewers today. And we're going to give some time for people to come in and give an opportunity for people to come and experience this wonderful thing that I actually got to experience yesterday. It was a really unique and powerful experience. So I'm really excited for everybody to witness this and be part of it as well. So this is a really awesome experience where you get to actually donate. If you want to go to the link in the description to buy Gina a coffee, that would be one of the best ways to contribute to this growing project. There are so many projects involved with this, right, Gina?
Yes, there is. So with me, there's always something going on. Those who've been following me might even feel a bit confused. And finally, I'm getting a bit more closer and closer to making sense of all of this. And so Alex and I are going to show you some slides. We'll go over them. And before we go on, I just wanted everybody out there to know who Alex is. So who is Alex? Alex is one of our beloved Dragon Dreamers who has offered to host. We've also got Julia Anchorhaven. She's another Dragon Dreamer helping us out in the comments. Anybody else out there would like to be involved, you're interested in things like dreams, the ET agenda, Bigfoot, the ancient future, Alex, Julia, and myself, we're into all that stuff, super soldier programs. And we're quite passionate about community. And that's what the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective is all about. And so if you wanted to get involved in the behind the scenes, we can certainly use your help. So be sure to reach out to me. Alex and I, we belong to the same community. I was thinking about it actually last night, Alex. It's a handful of years now already. Those of you who know me know I like to participate. So there I am, Bruce Lipton's Communicells community. Alex is hosting it. I do my thing participating. And now one thing's led to another. Alex and I collaborating for the first time. And Alex is actually going to be a speaker on story, species, story medicine. And so there's just so much to talk about. So without further ado, I'm hopeful people will start donating and buy me a coffee. Julia put the link there in the description, in the chat, excuse me. It is in the description as well. It might just take a few moments. So please buy me a coffee right now. And on that note, please subscribe to my YouTube in case you're curious. I'm
Yes,
not
make sure to
popular
like
enough
and
on
subscribe.
YouTube. So I don't have the super chat. That's why we're using Buy Me a Coffee. And Buy Me a Coffee is a really great platform to use. And so, Alex, why don't I pull up those slides?
Yeah, please,
Um,
just to give everybody an idea of what's coming up and how we can best contribute and see the idea here. All right, so this is through the dreams and half remembered, half misunderstood. We unite, right? And it's all about joining the community, and that's really what it's all about is community. And all of the subjects here are near and dear to my heart, and this is a really growing concept of breaking the fourth wall, as it were, starting to see beyond our current perceptions and realize there's so much more going on in the world. And the best part is when we share this experience with others, because you don't want to be all by yourself just going down the rabbit hole on YouTube. And the best thing is to recognize that there are a lot of projects coming up, but this is a really big part of unity. And if you want to go to understand that these projects are coming together, Project 30 is a really big important thing about unity consciousness, ISIS unity consciousness. So it's
yes,
and
thank
also
you
make sure you go to the website too, right? What was that, Gina? Sorry.
yes, thank you for reiterating that, Alex. Project 30 is really important. Those of you who've been following me, it's a number of times I mentioned Project 30, and I'm convinced my dream life and waking life are bridging together. And so normalizing these conversations is really important to me. So when I talk about Project 30, I'm talking about our greater oneness. I'm talking about how we're not so fragmented like we thought we might be. We're quite multidimensional. And the Venn diagram, both Alex and I, huge fans of the Venn diagram. Let us know if you're a fan of the Venn diagram too, all of these circles coming together, and those circles representative of the cells and the universes. So this unity consciousness, this greater oneness that we all belong to, is part of my dream ecosystem. It's a community co-dreaming ecosystem that you're all invited to be a part of. And I'm convinced that you're already a part of it through dreams, half remembered and half misunderstood. And so through Project 30, Isis Unity Consciousness, we've got Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, all kinds of other things. We'll go through the slides. And this is supposed to bring us together. So we're fundraising money here the last Friday of each month so that we can transform the book series into a movie series. And
Hey.
so, oh, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, yay. I mean, that's the best visual format. This is such a visionary project, and you consider yourself a visionary. That's right.
Yes. So those of you not familiar with me, I am the creator and visionary behind the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, and all of my content is merging together. And the umbrella term that I'm going with now is Project 30 Isis Unity Consciousness. And so the conference, my book series, the Dragon Dreams Oracle, which was recently published, is all falling under that umbrella term. And you're all going to be in the movies too. Alex and I doing Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, Julia Anchorhaven and I behind the scenes making arrangements. All of that's part of the movie as well. And the movies, they're really going to range. Those of you who've been following my content, some of it is, inspirational. It's very hopeful messages of not giving up, believing in yourself. But then there's a lot of other content that makes me uncomfortable, like soul transmigration, souls that are missing, unaccounted for, interesting conversations, and even names like the Grim Reaper or the Cosmic Custodian, E.T. Angel. Which one do you use? And that's part of our alchemical conscious evolution. So Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, this is our second time going live. And Alex is going to be hosting. Julia Anchorhaven is going to be taking care of the chat. And we're hopeful that as the months go by, we'll just dive into Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. We wanted to take the time today just to let you know a little bit about what we're doing and what our purpose is. And so while we go over the rest of the slides, there's not too many left. Please go on to buy me a coffee. The link is there in the description. Julia also put it in the chat. So once the money goes through, I will be happy to give you a gemstone reading. I've got my gemstones here with me, and I've got the Dragon Dreams Oracle all mixed up, ready for you. And let's keep looking at some slides.
Yeah, and also I'm really excited to just get a little interview with you, just for anybody that hasn't had an experience with the gemstones or any of the oracle cards, or you in general, just to get a sense of where this all comes from and how your process works, because I know I find it interesting, and I guarantee you a lot of people are going to find it really fascinating and empowering as well. So just tell us a little bit more too about how we can join. And there's all sorts of other projects in terms of authors and illustrators and artists, and bringing all sorts of people together in this community.
Yes, and so I'm a strong believer that we're a story species, and stories are our medicine. Literally, how we think and feel matters. Every thought you have creates an emotional response, or an emotional response creates a biological reaction. Now, when it comes to language, it's not just words, it's also things like movement. And so I'm targeting authors, but for what it's worth, if you're an illustrator or maybe you dance and that's how you communicate, that's your language, please reach out to me. I would absolutely adore to have you as a guest on Story Species, Story Medicine. It's a show that I started a handful of years ago. It was initially called Present Moment Hypnotherapy International, PMHI Passions. And last year, Story Species, Story Medicine. This year, I added the extra strength on there because you know what? This is a prescription, and I like the play on word with script, transcript, transformation, transforscription. I don't know this. I like this play of language, And of course, I like the medical Tylenol type extra strength terminology. But what's really exciting is I've got Alex lined up to be a guest on Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength. Michael Kopp is going to be returning. Brian Rue is going to be a guest as well. We've also have Chris Latour is going to be there this Tuesday. So there's always lots going on. You definitely want to follow me on Buy Me a Coffee, my free Facebook group. Alex and I will highlight that stuff. But while we're busy highlighting and going through these slides, please buy me a coffee. The intention is that's processing while we're going over this. There's an interesting connection though. This is going to be new. So Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength. Last year, I had Tilly Treadwell on and Michael Kopp, and we just seem to run out of time all of the time, right? And that's how it is with me. It's slipping into timelessness. It's too easy. So initially the show was an hour, but now it's maximum 3 hours because I'm realizing there's a lot of intention and freedom to read actual pages from the author. And if I have an illustrator, it's going to be really nice to take the time to go over what the symbolism means and whatnot. And so after you're on my show, bring up the next slide here. Okay, where is the next slide?
It's coming right up.
Right here. Okay, so after you're a guest on my show, I'm going to summarize that show and put it in a chapter in my book. So at the end of 2026, it'll be published ready for 2027. So the book series will be called Story Species, Story Medicine, Medicine Bearers. And I thought that was really important because a lot of us suffer from the confused warrior syndrome. Stay small to stay safe. Like, how does that make sense to the warrior, right? But we learn that staying small to stay safe is how we protect ourselves, what it means to be a sacred witness, what it means to step aside and let somebody go down their path, what they need to do or whatever it is. There's much to be said about the confused warrior. But this, to me, the medicine bearers, that title is important because I've come to learn through my own spiritual awakening and healing process that when it's not safe to speak, when it's not safe to be big, when you have to stay small to stay safe, when you have to stay quiet, that you actually are a keeper of wisdom. And then at some point when it's safe to speak or it's safe to stand up and be in your power, then you can share that wisdom. And so to me, that's what this means here. The medicine bearers is that we're now creating that safer space where people can speak and feel safe. So I'm really excited about this. We'll show you another slide here. And I haven't heard my Buy Me a Coffee make any noise, but if you would like a mini gemstone reading, hop on to Buy Me a Coffee, and it's by donation, and it's quite the steal of a deal.
So, it is. Let me tell you, it really is quite. It is a bargain. It is a real. It is a very valuable experience. And it out of all the divination experiences I've had for anybody that's listening right now or watching that wants to understand about gemstone readings, it is really amazing. There are so many different types of readings. Tarot cards, and I mean all the different things. So with astrology, palm reading, and the list goes on. But this is probably one of the most fascinating and unique and really grounded spiritual readings that I've ever had. So definitely go to Buy Me a Coffee. Go buy Gina a coffee and get yourself one of these readings because they're very, very cool.
and we're going to be back the last Friday of every month. And so this is just our second time on here. Help us spread the word. Please subscribe to my YouTube, share this video, and I would absolutely adore to provide you with a mini gemstone reading. And I noticed some people already subscribed to my YouTube just now with us chatting away. And so I really appreciate that. The intention is to get the super chat going. Buy Me a Coffee is what we're using right now. So what other slideshows do I have here to show you?
I'm sure we got a few, and there's going to be some more insight and ways that people can contribute and get a sense of what's going on. Tell us more about the Dragon Dreams Oracle deck, Gina. This is something you created yourself, is it?
Yes. So I am completely ecstatic and thrilled. I'm honestly still processing it. I thought it was one thing to publish a book, but to publish an oracle deck, it's just the whole other level. And I never thought I would do anything like this ever in a million years. And I always tell people that I was that kid that went to the special education classroom for language arts. So all these years later, I graduated with an honors degree in English literature. I graduated with a second degree in education. I publish books. I create oracle now. And so it's just really important to me, if you ever feel like you're not good enough or like you're not intelligent, don't listen to anybody. And often the environment that you're in, the very epigenetics can keep you stagnant. And so I haven't really, I've just made little YouTube videos, but um, this is the Dragon Dreams Oracle, and it comes in a double tin. And you can purchase your own Dragon Dreams Oracle. And Alex and I yesterday, we were chatting away, and I said, you know what? It would be so cool if somebody out there bought the Dragon Dreams Oracle and then actually came on here, Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, and I could do like the gemstone reading, and then they could pull a Dragon Dreams Oracle card from at home or something like that, helping me out here. That would really drive the community.
Absolutely. It makes it way more interactive. And I mean, you can have this in your hands. This is a total participatory event, right, Gina?
Yes, absolutely. And the nice thing about the Dragon Dreams Oracle, those of you who have been following me, that's the beauty too. When you follow me on Buy Me a Coffee, you get all this extra stuff, right? Not everybody's into all this extra stuff. I get that. But some people, they've been following me, and I feel like I've got cheerleaders, and I really appreciate that. And I never want to take it for granted. Even having Alex here hosting, Julia in the comments, like I am feeling the luxury. So the Dragon Dreams Oracle, I forget the size, but they're basically the same size as regular playing cards. They're bendable. They're manageable for my hands, and they feel nice and soft. Like any tarot or oracle, you hold it to the lights, and sometimes it glows through. The words are golden. They're eco herbage, so it means it was the best environmentally friendly option to choose. And that's another reason, actually, why I wanted to choose the tin, because the cardboard box would have been more environmentally friendly, right? But I don't know about you folks, but I have this thing where the corner of the box always starts to kind of tear. And so that's why I went with the tin. And also, I know there's a lot of folks out there who they like to have their own special pouches and whatnot that they put their tarot and special oracle cards in. So what happens to the box? And I thought, well, maybe you could use the box to put your candles in, or gemstones, or some matches. And that's part of our community too, sharing tools that we use. And so all of my content, all the images on here, the images in my book, they all go together. And the oracle, it was very challenging for me to create this little booklet, because how do I take all my content and just put like one little paragraph per card? And so again, yesterday when Alex and I were chatting, I don't even think I read you the meaning of the card. We just talked about it.
Yeah, you have the meanings built into your own program, so you had I'm really looking forward to reading them, because there's so much creativity and care that went into this work. So this is definitely a really great thing to get everybody.
And here's the book. This one here is book 5, Sacred Phoenix Heart. And this is the book where I actually talk about Isis. And so I thought the color orange is calling to me. It's been calling to me for some time. So that's why this book is highlighted. Yeah, there are 8. I've got a suitcase full of dream journals that I still need to publish. And of course, I'm always receiving downloads. And so it would be ideal if money just magically flowed in my life and then I just hung out at the beach and wrote books and did gemstone readings. That would be the ultimate um, flow in my life. So if you wanted to purchase, you can get that on Amazon, and there's a link in the description for the Oracle. And this next slide, I'm really excited about. This slide here, I'll just go back to it for a moment. Project 30, Isis Unity Consciousness. So everything that I'm talking about is this Project 30. And there's supposed to be 30 of us. Are you one of the 30? I don't know. Reach out to me. And in my book series, book number 5, the one with the eagle on it that I was just showing, I talk about Project 30. It does come up in other books, but this one here is the big one. This book, it's funny because as I was trying to publish it, I kept getting downloads, and my spirit guides are like, okay, we're just going to tell you one more thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, like how much more stuff are you telling me? And so they told me that this book is basically a 3-for-1 because it's so big. Instead of having 3 books, they said, put it all together in one book. So it's really amazing. This next slide here, going back to the Isis Unity Consciousness, this is the conference that I want to put on, I want to host. And so I actually already have speakers. So there you go. I thought that was really great flow and synchronicity. So if anybody out there was interested in being a speaker, there's going to be another conference in June. This one here is for March 14th. So mark your calendars now. Next week, I'm going to be calling out any vendors, and I'm also going to be calling out any entertainers. So if you're interested in that, reach out, follow me on Buy Me a Coffee to learn more. I'm really looking forward to this. I'd like to have 4 conferences online every year. And if possible, it would be cool to have a bonus in-person conference in the summertime. So I don't want to be afraid to hope and
Hey, Gina,
dream.
may I ask you a question real quick about the date of that
Yes.
conference? Was there a particular reason that you chose that date?
Yes, and thank you for asking. So because I wanted to have 4 conferences a year, I thought it would be ideal to do it in conjunction with the equinoxes and solstice.
Perfect.
Initially, I thought I would do it only in the spring, fall, because I wanted to work with specifically the equinoxes. One thing led to another, and I thought it would be really fantastic because I'm always moving with seasonal cycles. And there's also the cycles inside my mind, right? And the cycles inside your mind, and how those might come into alignment together. And so the conference is intended to be affordable, and it's intended to be an all of the time thing. It's just something that's going to be ongoing annually every year. There's going to be 4 to look forward to online, a possible bonus one. And that was the other reason too, just to spread them out. Maybe you come to this one, but you can't come to the next one. You don't have to feel stressed out. This is just going to be an ongoing thing. So things tend to happen fast, and things are happening fast now. So on that note, there's just a couple more slides to show you. I haven't heard my phone make any special noises for donations, but if you wanted a mini gemstone reading, you need to make a donation on Buy Me a Coffee. You can do that. The details for that are in the description. And there's also a link in the chat. And so it's really interesting for me too, just to have a designated time and space to do gemstone readings, because before I was going on shows and doing gemstone readings, but now this is like the only time I'm doing gemstone readings, unless you book a private with me. And if you wanted to host me on your show, I'm not able to do gemstone readings because this is the special time I do that. But I do have a willingness to do some oracle readings and have some fun. If any hosts out there are interested, please reach out. So let me show you this other slide. these are the best ways to stay in touch with us. So there's the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. You can find me on YouTube, buy me a coffee, and on Facebook, there's a free Facebook group called the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. Now, I cross-post stuff on Buy Me a Coffee from there, and the Facebook group is convenient because any events that I host, like the conference and Story Species, Story Medicine, it's all in there. So it's easier for you to keep track of time. And the Buy Me a Coffee is great because I don't know about folks out there, but I tend to get overwhelmed with links. So I just send links the day of. You don't have to worry about it. It's sent the day of. And it's a really great way to connect with community. I would absolutely adore for Dragon Dreamers to post their dream journals. If you're celebrating the new moon, the full moon, what are you doing? Show us, take some pictures. I would really genuinely love to see that. And the free Facebook group, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, is the place to do that. And if you wanted to make a little video, 1 to 3 minutes in length, introduce yourself, or if you're making an elixir or making a new flora, show us how you do that. That's what it's all about. And what else do I want to tell you? There's always something to say. Oh yeah, something really worth highlighting. On my YouTube, there's playlists. And one of those playlists, it's me reading directly from my book series. And so if you don't feel like reading and you just feel like listening, that's a really great resource. Sometimes even myself, I'll listen to it, and some of the content I've listened to multiple times over, but each time I get like a different message. It resonates with me.
Yeah.
And of course, you can register for one of my memberships, and I do transformational healing and whatnot. But the focus here is dreaming with Gemstone Gina, letting you know who Alex is, Julia Anchorhaven, building community. And so this last slide is just reiterating Project 30, Isis Unity Consciousness. And so I really want to sincerely thank everybody who's been following me. A number of you have been following me for a handful of years and watching me grow and you growing with me, and even the Facebook group, the name changing, alchemizing. And I'm really looking forward to the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective growing. We're an iconic group and we're quite beloved. And what's interesting is we all know each other, but we don't remember each other. And so it's an honor for me to share all of my content with you. This is something that I did for myself. And I quickly realized, you know, of course, in my content, I'm the hero in my hero's journey, but I very quickly realized that I'm you and you're me, and my story is actually all of your stories as well. And so if you think you might remember me or Alex from a dream or a past life, reach out to us. You know, we're open and that kind of stuff. We'd like those conversations to be more normalized. And the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective and our unity consciousness, the ISIS behind it all, is really important because, you know, when we're chit-chatting about this stuff, it's very normal, but it is so not normal, even with my own family, to have these conversations. And there's a lot of members out there who they just don't have anybody to talk to about this kind of stuff. And there's one too many dragon dreamers out there who are very intelligent, but they don't feel like they're intelligent. Why? Because the information that comes to them is constantly slashed at, and holes are blown through it because of cancel culture. And there's a lot of very intelligent dragon dreamers out there who don't feel or think that they're intelligent. Why? Because everything that they try and share gets dismissed. And so, you know what, that's just a sign that maybe your epigenetics needs to change, your community needs to change. And we're that community. Super soldier programs, that's all very normal sounding to us. So Alex, did you want to say anything else? Just
Yeah, sure.
checking
Well,
my
this
buy me
is
a coffee here.
yeah, again, yes, everybody who's here now or restreaming this later, definitely go to buymeacoffee.com for Gina Virginia Casella, really to contribute and help grow this community. It's a really wonderful thing, especially all of the normalization of these so-called woo-woo, interesting, out there stuff. Like we're bringing the out there in here, and there's a lot of really strange stuff that maybe we take for granted a lot of times. Even things like deja vu or synchronicity. Oh yeah, it's a coincidence. We use this stuff is totally normal already. We just don't have the language or the communication capacity to have this exchange. So this is what it's all about, everybody. This is really cool because this is a really interesting world. There's so much more going on than we have the sense to perceive right now. And if we can open our perceptions a little bit, we start to see a little bit more outside the window. And so, yeah, thank you so much, Gina, for everything, for being here and for doing this, and really, and I know I'm technically hosting it, but just kind of like hosting this great project. It's an amazing thing.
Yes, and thank you so much. So it's just such an honor. And you know what? Like I said, this is a new routine. And so I told Alex, I said, I don't know how many people are going to be joining us today. It's a new routine. So like I said, in the future, when we're doing Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, the intention is we just do a quick hi, how are you? And we start diving in with the gemstones one after another. I'm not going to do a gemstone reading unless somebody donates, but what I will do is turn off my background so you can see the gemstones, and I can just show you what they look like, how it works.
Yeah,
In the
and yeah, would
summertime,
love to hear that.
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we'd love to hear
Rosie's
that.
here.
Oh, there you go.
So,
A guest
so
appearance, a
this
little
is Rose
cameo.
Quartz Rosie. Okay. Yeah, she's getting jealous. She was napping earlier. Okay, so let me uh okay, just fumbling bumbling here. Let me remove these slides. Okay,
Yes.
and my background, I love it, but then you can't see behind me. So, okay, there's my background. Bed's made. So in the
It's a great
summertime,
mandala you got there.
thanks. Yeah, actually, I got the idea from Michael Kopp because I was having a really hard time with my backgrounds. And he's like, why don't you just get a sheet or something? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that.
There you go.
So, just so everybody knows, I know you can't see my face. I'm just going to bring this down here.
Gina's still here,
So,
everyone.
so I really delighted at the Full Disclosure Now conference in July this past summer doing these gemstone readings. And like nobody knows what this is, right? I mean, people do tea leaf readings, they toss stones, gemstones, but this is a creation of my own making. It's something I did for myself, and now I offer it to the public, but the public's like, well, what is it? So basically, each gemstone represents an archetype. There's a buddy system, and I'll make a circle with these gemstones. And then, depending on where the gemstones fall, provides me with information. So, certain gemstones are supposed to be in certain places. And when they're in those places, that communicates to me that those archetypes and what they mean are in alignment. When they're not in the place, then it could mean lots of different things. It could mean like, yeah, you're not in alignment. That sometimes there's a bit more interesting information going on. The opposites tend to work together. So I would like to offer a course. That's going to be the next step for me. Again, there's always projects on the go, but the next step for me is to create some kind of workbook where I teach folks out there how to do this and how to create their own gemstone reading. So Each gemstone reading is a case-by-case scenario. And I always tell you whatever stands out. I don't plan in advance what I'm going to say. It's just whatever comes to me. And each gemstone reading could easily last an hour, especially when we have some dialogue back and forth. It's really powerful. And then when I'm finished, whatever it is I have to say, and on that note, I'm just doing mini gemstone readings. So if you wanted like a full hour's worth of gemstone readings, if you have a private membership with me, that's one of the luxuries, is you can switch around services like that. So if you wanted to spend an entire session just doing a gemstone reading, focusing on story medicine, not talk therapy, but story medicine, then we can do that. So just to reiterate, those of you who are just tuning in, when you book a gemstone reading, or on days like today where I'm doing a mini gemstone reading, I make a circle and I get all kinds of information, the way my hand's moving, just energy that I'm sensing. Then I look at the gemstones. It provides me with information. I let you know what that information is. And then I always choose a card from the Dragon Dreams Oracle. And what's really cool about the Dragon Dreams Oracle is like they're just mixed up and they're there, right? So when I'm pulling a card, I don't know what card I'm going to pull, right? And every single time it reinforces everything that I just said. And if it doesn't, then it serves as a blind spot. And I usually have like no idea what it means, but the client always does. And so I was feeling really shy about doing this, but now I feel really confident and I feel really empowered telling clients, like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is something that you would know. And then the client feels empowered because it's true. It is something that only they would know. And then it's kind of freaky because my gemstones picked up on that, right? So
Yeah.
we're all psychic and intuitive. So I'm definitely, my psychic intuitiveness is coming out and shining through the gemstones. But these gemstones, every time I use them, I feel them. The energy buzzes even more. They connect with the audience. And sometimes when I do a gemstone reading, I'm like ready to talk, but some people, they don't want to hear what I have to say. They're like, ooh, that gemstone, tell me what that gemstone means. And I absolutely delight in it. So if that's you, if you're like, Gina, I don't want a gemstone reading, just tell me about this gemstone. Like, I can do that for you too. So there's lots of flexibility. And I'm just noticing in the chat here, Anchor Haven says cat blessings. Yeah, cat blessings too. Rose Quartz Rosie. If you book a session with me, she gets locked out. She likes to move the gemstones around. And Anchor Haven is just saying, welcoming Gina is available for gemstone readings. Just buy her a coffee. Yeah,
Just
buy
buy
a
her
coffee,
coffee.
folks.
Very easy. Very
Support my
easy.
cause.
Yeah, and the greater cause of just getting some information, and more than information, it's a message. It's medicine, and the message. I love the play on words and the magic of the language and everything, because it's more than just it's intuition, but you're getting a like divination's interesting because you're not just getting what you want to hear from the unconscious mind. Sometimes the subconscious and the unconscious it eludes us, so we need to have some sort of like fishing pole to get like, oh, let's find out what's down there. But there's also so much cool stuff that comes in from above too, and if you want to use that metaphor, it's the super conscious or the spirit plane, the channeling of all these realms. So yeah, just buy her a coffee and you can get a really cool reading for sure. I had one yesterday and it was amazing. I've had a lot of different readings in my time, and I work with tarot cards and astrology, and I've done some hand palm reading in the past as well, and some like looking into the crystal ball, scrying and things like that. But what I love about this, Gina, we were talking about this yesterday. It's all one of the big factors in divination is novelty. when you're experiencing something that's new, there's an openness to receiving a lot more. Your eye opens up, it dilates, your third eye dilates essentially. Your heart opens up, and you're receiving a lot more. So this is a really great experience for everybody.
Saying that, and something interesting came up too. Nobody's donating today, which is fine, but it gives us a little bit of time just to have this conversation too. Like I was saying, the intention is that in the future when I sign on, we just sign on and get busy doing gemstone readings. So I was just checking things, and now I've lost Alex. Oh, there you are, Alex. Okay, so two that's really interesting is these gemstones are archetypes, right? And so I don't watch scary movies, okay? I mean, I've seen some, and that's how I learned early on in my childhood not to watch them.
Leave that to me. I'll watch the scary movies for you.
Like if those of you who know me, like since childhood, I don't watch. I'm not, just never was into that. Honestly, it freaks me out. But what's interesting is that these archetypes, even though they're in my head, they're communal archetypes, if you will, like the Morrigan. I didn't invent the Morrigan, but in my head, it's like, oh, okay, I'm making a connection that this dark goddess I'm dealing with, lords of the underworld, Huskar, Kokopelli, like different names for ultimately the same gatekeeper, if that's what you want to categorize them as. And that's the thing. I'm moving beyond categories. And so yesterday, like the dog monkey folk, the Morrigan, that kind of stuff was coming up with Alex. And it was interesting because he was asking me like, well, what's your take on it? And it's like, well, I can tell you my take, but ultimately, again, only you, the client, the dragon dreamer would ultimately know. And I wanted to parallel something that Alex said. I have a cousin, Alex, and so every time I say Alex, I think about my cousin Alex.
The mind is very
Alex,
funny that way.
it's a good name, right? Alex is a good name. So,
I like it.
So Alex Lipton was commenting on dog monkey folk, and it also made me think about one of my friends, Dan Armstrong, and his thoughts on dog monkey folk, because ultimately sounds like we're all talking about the same folk, but we call them different things. So I was telling Alex, like, there's too much to say about the dog monkey folk, and that's what's exciting too. As I do these gemstone readings, as Project 30 unfolds, you'll get to know when I say dog monkey folk Polaris, you'll know who I mean. So if you're feeling overwhelmed out there, there's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
But
it's okay.
the dog monkey folk, they forge the future. So there is no future. It's very dangerous. The only thing that exists is the present moment. So they forge the future, making sure that you've got ground underneath to step on, and they're also making sure it's safe. Every single moment that goes by, they're behind you, gobbling up the past. It's complete hurricane, disaster, everything. Nothing exists in the past. It's just memories are in the past, right? And the memories are in the present. I've already said too much about the dog monkey folk, but that's the gist of it. And so, my friend Dan, he actually was a guest on Robert Carlill's The Typical Skeptic podcast, and he was providing testimony, but he spoke a lot about the dog monkey folk and how he perceives the dog monkey folk as these folks who protect us, and they take on really scary forms, but they're nothing to be afraid of. But why do they look so scary? Well, what's familiar keeps us safe, and we're not used to seeing those scary figures. And historically, that's what people would do. People who lived on islands and places that were seemingly safe, they were also very vulnerable to invaders. So what would they do? They would put statues of very scary looking figures. And it just, it's easy to see how you can connect and connect. And when I think back to the image of the Venn diagram, it's like just the dog monkey folk alone. There's my circle, there's Dan's circle, there's Alex's circle. all of it coming together, these circles. And so, Alex, why don't you share a little bit what you shared with me yesterday about dog monkey folk? Because I don't watch the scary movies that you do, but it made me feel good that, okay, like things in my head are, Alex knows about that. Who else
Yeah,
knows?
absolutely. And as far as movie, I mean, movies. I think movies are great. What any kind of movie is interesting because the fact is, it's just a movie. You know, there's a whole behind the scenes reality to nature and reality itself. I mean, the mind it is in effect the movie that's playing out and it's happening in real time. So the funny thing about the dog monkey folk, as we're going to call them, I when you were describing them, I thought of a couple of different ones. I mean, one of them is it's I wouldn't say it's scary. It's kind of a cheesy movie, a TV made for TV movie, but it's written by Stephen King. It's called The Langoliers. If anyone has seen this, it's from back in the I think the late 90s or mid 90s or something. And it was the whole idea is that they're on an airplane. They end up going through some type of vortex like the Aurora Borealis or something, and they end up getting displaced from the present moment. And they land at an airport. There's no one there. And they're like, what's going on? And they find out that through this, there's like a girl who has insight to what's happening. She's kind of psychic. She finds out that there are these creatures in this realm called the Langoliers, that they're just a moment outside of the present and the past. And the Langoliers, what they do is they come and consume the world behind the present moment. And when you were describing them, I'm like, oh, that's like the Langoliers. And then another one I thought was really interesting is a really great show. This is not a scary show at all. This is actually a very intriguing show. It was on FX. I think it's on Hulu now, but it's called Legion. It's an X-Men spin-off show, but if you're not into superhero stuff, don't let that dissuade you. I promise this is a very valuable show when it comes to psychology and consciousness and dreams and reality. What does it all mean? Well, one of the arcs in this show has to do with time, and there are these creatures. They're called, I think they're called the Time Eaters. Actually, in this one, I remember watching and thinking like, oh, it's the Langoliers again. But they actually looked exactly like what you were describing, Gina, and they're kind of freaky looking. They move in a very strange way, but they looked a little bit more like monkey cats as opposed to monkey dogs. And you know, it's like this is all lining up. This is definitely not a coincidence whatsoever. And it's interesting too. Just one thing I'd like to add as well when it comes to the nature of time. We think of time as like a straight line, right? You know, they're eating up the past, you're gobbling it up, and then in the future they're laying it out for us in the front. But as you said, there really is no future. Everything is in the present moment. Everything is in the mind, but you know, sometimes we're talking about dimensions, you know, and this dimension, that dimension, but there's another thing too called density. Density and dimension are different. And I'm sure we'll get into this as well, but like, you know, that some might say, and a lot of people that are into this field stuff is that our world is in a certain density. We're in like the third density, a lot of people say. And that we're perhaps shifting into the fourth density, which means it's like, you know, we can't see the spirit world most of the time with our two eyes, but we have this third eye. So if our density changes and we can start to perceive these things, we enter into a new world. Some might say bringing heaven to earth in like a religious context, but it's really like an ascension and a new age concept. We're going to another level. So these creatures are these folk. I like calling them folk. That's a really good way because it's more humane. I think calling them creatures, it's a little disassociative. But they're kind of like a lot of the population of spirit helpers out there. There's little people as well, like gnomes, fairies, things like that. Then there's giants and astral bodies and things. It's like they're just one part of this huge population of things that we're just totally not privy to, but we're becoming more privy to them.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Like these langles that you're talking about, like I mean, it's interesting because somebody might be listening and being like, "Oh, I know who Alex is talking about. Those are scary folks. Stay away from them," right? But then it's interesting because somebody like me is like last night actually I was reaching out to them. And then this morning I was like, I don't know who you folks are, but if you're connected to the dog monkey folk, then they should know who I am. And maybe this is all part of, like, because it's not just our dream ecosystem, it's their dream ecosystem too. It's the ET dream ecosystem, because they're us and we're them. We're the gods we've been waiting for, the good guy and the bad guy. They're the same guy. And book 8, Scary Dreams, that's where it ends. It seemingly, like, leaves you on that kind of eerie cliffhanger. Like, what? Like, the good guy and the bad guy, they're just looking at each other like, now what? Now what? And the language, um, moving away from the I identity and using the we identity and the they identity. And so book 8, Scary Dreams, sometimes grammatically it's kind of, it's not familiar to talk like that, right? It's familiar to use he, she, or I, to refer to the they, but again, making the unfamiliar familiar, right? And in book 8, it gets scary because um, it talks about looshers. Now, looshers, that was a term that was new to me a year ago. Last year in the early fall, I had a really scary dream, which are very far and few, but um, I'm like, I don't know who these folks are in this dream, you know? And then looshers seem to be a popular term going around, and it just hit me. I'm like, okay, because they weren't vampires in the traditional sense, you know? So um, my content, it's interesting because the connection I'm trying to make here is when you do a gemstone reading with me, whether it's a mini one or a full one with a private session, is that we can easily shift into these conversations and start talking about your own archetypes and making sense, discerning, like, is that an archangel, guardian angel, or is that like an alternative version of you? Or is that like maybe somebody else, their world bridging with yours? I find the dream life really fascinating, and it's just such a joy to talk about dreams and my dream ecosystem, now sharing it with everybody. Rosie's here, she's back. Do you want a mini gemstone reading, Rosie? Sometimes I'll do one for her, and I'll clean out her chakras as well. um, So I didn't see anybody making any donations for Buy Me a Coffee. We've been on here for about an hour. The intention is we hop on here and we just do a quick little hi, how are you? And then we get busy. So next month when we come on, the end of February, I'll make sure that I'll give you some heads up. I'll be sure to send the link the day of. And then I really look forward to coming on here again with you, chatting. If anybody out there would like to have me as a guest on your show, you can ask me all kinds of questions about my content. I would absolutely delight in that and help us spread the word about our unity consciousness. Something that's interesting too is like Isis. Like, where did that even come from, right? Like when you think of Isis, you probably think about the Egyptian goddess, and yeah, me too. I think about the Egyptian goddess, but there was a woman who wore orange in one of my dreams, and she cooked for me. And in my dreams, I don't eat. So when I'm eating in my dreams, it's like, oh, is this a dream? Where am I? Right. And so we connected. And she also appears to me as a white tiger with big copper eyes. Um, and so that's her, that's Isis. And in my spirit life, I'm very masculine. So all my spirit guides and altars, it's like I'm minority female, big time. And so Isis and I connect. And the reason we were connecting is because her voice was getting drowned out because of her feminine expression, right? And those were the days. But those days are gone now. So when I was awakening, if you will, I couldn't hear her, but she was always there. Um, but now we're closer. And I had to go through some learning experiences and healing in my own alchemy to get to a certain point. And I now realize she represents the phoenix rising, and for me, and also the color orange, very important. And that color I'm now, my spirit guide Amanda also presents in the color orange. And so she's part of that same rainbow spectrum. But Isis, how did I conclude Isis, right? Well, the thing is after I would do my meditations and whatnot, I would close sacred space. And a mentor that I had at the time, I told her, after I close sacred space, I feel kind of freaked out because I can feel the ghosties and the spirits. And honestly, I don't want them to touch me. I don't want them whispering in my ears. um, it's a boundary for me. I'm not comfortable with it. So she recommended, like, after you say your prayer, close your closing space, that you just sit there for a moment, because maybe they have a message that they want to tell you or something, you know. But maybe if you're open to it, it's an opportunity for them to give you a little hug if you're open to it as well. So I was open to this, and I started hearing not voices, but like a knowing that would chime in. That's my clairvoyance. And one at a time, they'd be like, "United are we, be free, blessed be." And then it would get weird. They would say, um, "Us is as is. We are, we is." But "we is" really bad grammar, right? And then they'd be like, "we I." And I'm like, "What? I don't get this." And then they'd be like, "Eyes is." Like, "we is, eyes is." And I'm like, "What?" Because they're trying to explain to me that we're one. And they're trying to sound formal about it, but it wasn't working out, to be honest. And I'm like, and that's the thing. Like, I have a lot of fun and laughs with these ghosties. It basically concluded like, "we is, I is." And when you look at, like, is Isis, that's how it's spelled. And so I'm making this connection, like, eyes is Isis. So it's actually I apostrophe, like, is apostrophe. Anyways, it's just I have to write it down, if you will. But like Isis, ISIS, and then you've got the I apostrophe S, eyes is, that's Isis. But it's so bad grammar, and you can tell just by me explaining this, it chops it right up and takes away the meaning. So if I just say Isis, it's oneness is what that means. And Isis is also meaning this whole color orange spectrum, and that's the color leading the way. The dragon dreams, my dragon, he's such a dark purple that I thought he was black. He's not black. And in my dream journals, um, I would, confuse the purple with the black. And then I made the connection. This is supposed to be purple. It's a purple dragon, right? It's just, that's how dark he is. Well, he's transformed now. So he's a she now, and he's purple. Orange. And his name is her name now, and it's Isis. And it's um, this whole energy that I'm channeling, and it's exciting, and I'm really thankful for everybody to be a part of it. There's
Yeah.
so much to say.
Yeah, oh, there is, and we're going to get into so much stuff going forward. And the amazing thing about I resonate with dragons a lot. I was born in 1988, which was the Chinese Year of the Dragon, and so
Mm.
dragons are a huge part of my consciousness and the way I see things. I was in fact just watching Game of Thrones last night with dragons in it. I'm obsessed with dragons, and even
Mm.
probably one of my favorite dragons of all time is Falcor from the Neverending Story. I don't know if anybody here, Gina, in that, but they have such a magical energy, and they're ancient. And I love what you were saying too about it, the is, like, the is in the whole extrapolation and like deepening of the isness. And I remember almost 20 years ago now, thinking about it's like, what kind of business am I actually in right now? It's just like, because it's not just movies, it's consciousness, and it's the field. It's like we're in the business of isness. And that's, I feel like that's essentially what we're doing. We're just conducting ourselves in a field of, it's like, hey, we're carrying on our business, but we're within the greater is in the field. It is the isness. It's the business of isness.
Yeah, I like that. I never thought about that. It's fun to play around with language like this. And as you were saying that, I was thinking about the word, well, the ending ing, because we're always in a state of ing, like we're living, we're doing, but really we're living, we're doing. It's just, again, it's really bad grammar to talk like that. And so we forget about it. But I feel like this is all part of our awakening. And again, like, this business of the is, like, this is coming from my head, from my dreams, right? And so, like, yeah, maybe it's possible I was sitting in a coffee shop years ago and somebody talked about it and unconsciously I picked it up, and maybe I just think it was in my head and really I'm stealing somebody else's idea, but like, I don't think that's what's going on. And so when you start to share out and you have community like Alex Lipton and Julia Ankerhaven, and you can just talk without being judged and bounce around ideas, this is the kind of results that you get. So
Yeah.
I'm seeing Julia's comment. She's saying, great show. I'm wondering, Alex, do you have any final thoughts, or did you want to hang out a bit more? I'm not really sure. Um,
Well, I think, my final thoughts, if you want to call them that, because of course it's a continuum, and we're going to be flowing onward in a wonderful continuum, expanding and growing. So, but I just want to emphasize too that the Venn diagram, that for all of our viewers and
mm.
listeners right now, and even in the future, that was one of the first things that we connected, Gina, was over this symbol. It's my favorite symbol. In fact, I have a tattoo of it right here on my, I don't know if you can see it, it's on my wrist, of a Venn diagram, because the first time I saw this was in school doing a compare and contrast study. And it was interesting because, the ones, it's like, well, one side says this, the other side says that, but here in the middle, this is where they come into agreement. And I always found that incredibly useful, but not from the school point of view. In school, they were saying, well, this is just to help you pick a side. Like, this will help you decide which one you agree with more. And I just never resonated with that. Like, I understand the purpose of that, I guess, but to me, it was not about which side do you want. It's about recognizing the third side, and it's the third middle part's not another side. It's not another circle. It's when you put the two together that something new emerges. It emerges. It's not created. It doesn't. It's not existed on by itself. You have to put the two together, and that's really what it's all about, I think, in everything. I mean, it's like we talk about coming together in unity consciousness. That's what it is. There's so much division, or it seems like division. It's a lot of imposed ideas that make us feel like we're divided, and get us to think that we're all divided. But in reality, we all share a lot of really important stuff. The things that we share are more important than the things that divide us. It's plain and simple. We all breathe, we all drink water, we all have a heart that beats, we all need food at some point. We all require certain things, and without those things, there is no us, there is no unity. So it's like, let's focus on those things, because it seems like the more that we get distracted and get divided and pull the circles apart symbolically, it seems like all the things that actually unite us actually go away. Like, our air gets polluted, our water starts to get corrupted with fluoride and forever chemicals and things like that. The food becomes over processed and it's not even real food anymore. It's like, wait a minute, we're losing track of the whole picture again, and it comes back to where we put our attention, where we put our focus. Is it says a lot about how we can create this world. And the last thing I'll say is this: it's that we're not necessarily, you hear this a lot too, Gina, is that you're a creator of the world. You're a creator. And it's like, yeah, in a lot of senses, we are creatives. We do, we can simulate, create things. They say there's nothing new under the sun. So we're, like you said, oh, maybe it wasn't my idea. Maybe I stole it from somebody else. Well, it's like, we're all in this field. We're all in this continuum. So it's all everybody's idea. So maybe we're not just creating. maybe we're co-creators. We're co-creators with each other, which is another reason why we need to listen and allow ourselves to learn stuff that we don't know. We don't have the whole picture. We have to come together in unity. We need to have, and we can have those experiences every day of our lives. And we have them more than we think. Like we were saying before, we take these things for granted. But if we start to reframe these things as like the magic is real, guys, like this is a real thing that's happening. It's not real and unreal. Some people, oh well, I'm a realist. What does that mean? I only base my assumptions of reality based on what's already happened, or based on what I can see with my five senses. Well, guess what? There's more senses than that. There's so much more. We're going to transform and change the whole concept of what it means to be a realist. Hope that was
There's
interesting.
always so much to be said. And we didn't see your tattoo when you showed it to us. I've seen it before, but we didn't see it when you showed it. If you wanted to show your tattoo again of the Venn diagram.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me get
But
my witch tattoo.
I love the
I got a
Venn
lot of
diagram
tattoos.
too.
That's right here.
There it is.
The
The colorful one beside it takes away a little bit.
Yeah, no, and
Alex
this
and
was
I
done
like
by
the
my
Venn diagram. I like the
yeah.
middle part too of the Venn diagram because it's not just I, like the possessive, the I identity, I Gina, I Isis, but it's also the I, like the eyeball, and the vision, and also the shape of the eyeball, and the multi-dimensional meaning just within that. The eyeball, the seed, the key, the shape of the rice or the shape of grain, and all of the themes of sovereignty and worms and sperms and binary codes that go with it. I have a huge appreciation for the Egyptian hieroglyphs and any kind of pictorial language, because I see now, even with ruins, how one symbol has so much to it. Even just like my name, Gina, if you needed to summarize me, you can just say Gina, right? And that's like a hieroglyph. Everything is represented. And the ultimate Venn diagram, I don't know what it's called, but it's the one that looks like an onion shape. And it has like, it's like all the Venn diagrams are linked up. And sometimes it's presented as an open flower just to show you how many layers there are, rings within rings. And when I think about time, and time being circular, linear, I think of time being a spiral, like it's everything. But when you get to the end of the spiral, you go up a notch, you don't continue. And so to me, there's like an alchemy going on with the Venn diagram. And depending on how you hold the Venn diagram, it looks like a cylinder, right? And so it makes me think about perspective and things like the eclipse. I mean, you can see how this goes on and on and on, right? And Julia's commenting seed of life. And one more thought from me. I mean, one more, but like something else I'm really passionate about with the Venn diagram is I'll show you in this picture here. Alex and I were chatting about it. You can see in this one, the middle part is colored in. And I like that. But in this other Venn diagram I have, it is not colored in, which is fine. I'll show you. It's not colored in. I like the colored one in better because it just pulls in that shared space, if you know what I mean. But either way, whether it's colored in or not colored in, I always think about an insect. And to me, that's very powerful, because in a lot of ancient literature, they talk about things like beetles, probably because it was a hot climate, but basically any kind of insect with wings on its back takes on this Venn diagram, even a ladybug. So it's just one circle seemingly, but when the insect opens its wings, now we're Venn diagramming it up. And then those wings fly and carry, and that's the community piece of the Venn diagram. When I was a kid, I was terrified of Venn diagrams. That to me was some kind of math symbol. It was scary. It wasn't until I actually taught kindergarten And part of the curriculum is teaching Venn diagrams. And I thought, oh no, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And the way it was shown to me is you take 2 hula hoops and then you do things like sort toys and crayons, what's similar, what's different. And then, of course, you run into the problem, which isn't a problem, about like there is no difference. And then you need that in between space. And then you take the 2 hula hoops. And actually, that's how I teach the primary students, grades 1, 2, and 3, how to write essays. But one piece of paper becomes 1 hula hoop to make it more concrete for them at that level. So Anchor Haven is commenting seed of life, I guess, like the eye shape, the grain shape, and Vesica Pisces. I don't know what that is, Anchor Haven.
That's the name for that symbol. You know, the Venn diagram is like the educational way to describe it as a tool for compare and contrast, but the Vesica Pisces is the more how do you put it, more accurate spiritual term for it.
Awesome. So you think what we'll do now is what I'll do is I'll remove myself from this stage. Alex, it's going to feel like you're alone, but I'll be here behind the scenes. And then after Alex thanks everybody, I will end the stream. The outro video will play. But before I remove myself, I really wanted to thank you, Alex, for agreeing to be a host on the show. It's such a thrill for you to be here, and it really worked out. Julia, it was iffy if she was going to be available today, and it worked out that she was available to be here for the whole show. And so, Julia, I really appreciate you. Julia is traveling. Julia has an interesting life. You know, she was just in the UK for a conference, and now she's traveling again. And I don't know her very well, but we're getting to know each other. And I'm looking forward to getting to know the rest of the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. We are an iconic group, and we're really spread out. Some Dragon Dreamers, they have like PhDs and lots of money, and they're just very busy into their work. Good for them. Then there's the Dragon Dreamers that, you know, they don't have PhDs, but they know about all this kind of stuff. And then there's the Dragon Dreamers that have lots of money. And then there's the Dragon Dreamers that don't have any money. They don't have any education. They don't have anybody to talk to about this kind of stuff. And so as my audience is growing, I'm recognizing that there's a bit of a sliding range going on. And I really love that, because to me, I just can't help but hope and dream about things like mentorship, because those who have more experience, a lot of Dragon Dreamers, they're like me, they do energy medicine work, right? And so it's just part of this buddy system and this greater coming together. Even seeing somebody like Alex or Julia, maybe you'll invite them to be a guest on your show. And so the community just builds and builds all of these circles. And so thank you so much, Alex. And thank you, Julia, for being in the chat. I really appreciate your time. And thank you so much, everybody. We're going to be back here next month, the last Friday of February. And next month, we're just going to hop on here and hopefully get busy. And the Soul Tribe is coming together. So thank you again so much. I'll just remove myself from the stage, trying to remove myself. Okay, this time for real. Removing myself. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see.
Thank you so much, Gina. That was so wonderful. And yes, this is the beginning of a whole incredible journey, a whole as in a totality of experiences, because there's so many different spokes on this wheel, and as we get this wheel turning, we're going to have an incredible journey ahead of us. And really, next time when you come on, you'll be able to get a reading. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/Gina Virginia Casella, you can donate at any point. That's the best way to donate, and it's totally affordable. It's within your reason, and it's all about an exchange of value, you know. And the thing is when you get a reading, you have a better experience when you actually invest in it, even if it's just a little bit, because you put something in, you get something back. It's just the energy exchange of nature. And so also you can go to our website. All the links are in the description. I just want to thank Gina and Julia. Also, thank you so much for managing the comments and just being in the background there. Really, this is what it's all about. I love the behind the scenes background world. So thank you so much again, Gina, for having me as your host. And I'm so honored and to be here together and facilitate the conversation in any way that I can. And the thing is, it's all about community and unity. That's really what it's about. Coming together in unity, community, okay? So again, just everybody take a look at buymeacoffee.com, Virginia Casella, and you can contribute. You can bring your sense to the table. And I don't mean sense as in money. I mean your senses, your inner sense. Bring that to the table, because we are all here to learn and thrive together. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next month.